Yo! Yo! How we doing today, man? How we doing? While this video goes on, I'm gonna be eating some strawberries. And I just broke the package. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat. So yeah. This is the one time you guys probably wouldn't want me with a mic, man, because you probably don't want to hear me fucking chew and stuff like that. Anyways, let's get into this. So today we're talking about the NBA draft, man. We're talking about the NBA draft, and we're gonna go over the lottery, and then I'm gonna make another video that kind of goes over some of the guys that I like outside the lottery. Now I know you're probably thinking this is kind of a late video for a draft. It happened weeks ago. We've already seen Summer League. Why are you making it now? This video was going to be one that I actually wanted to be one of my first videos, but other things came out, other things went on in the NBA world, so I kind of pushed this one for later. Now, all of my opinions aren't going to be going towards the Summer League. It's just going to be going more towards of what I thought on draft day. I mean, I'm definitely going to mention some Summer League because it happened, and although Summer League doesn't really mean that that NBA player is going to have overall success in the NBA, it definitely means a little bit of something. Let me hold this one. Dude, look at that one right there. That's a nice one, man. Oh hell yeah! So you gotta get the sweet ones, man. You gotta get the ones that are like the dark red. That's a play. You gotta get the dark red ones, and you gotta eat them the first day you get them, bro. That's where you get all the sweetness. I'm not out here eating sour strawberries. I'm not doing it. Whenever I'm at the grocery store, you get the reddest ones, you get the sweetest ones, you eat them the day you get them. That's how it is. Actually, we'll put those away so I can focus. So anyways, starting off, the top 3 picks, I'm not going to go into too much detail of, which you might think is weird because it's the top 3 picks. That's what most people care about. But I thought they were pretty obvious. Everyone and their mother knew that the Detroit Pistons were going to get Cade Cunningham. That happened. Rockets got Jalen Green, and the Cavs got themselves Evan Mobley. None of those are necessarily surprising to me. A lot of people already in the Summer League, I get it. It happens. You're always going to compare the number 1 and 2 pick. It's going to happen, right? Why can't they both just be good respectfully on their own teams? Cade Cunningham is going to be a great NBA player for the Detroit Pistons, and Jalen Green's going to be a great player for the Houston Rockets in 2 different ways. Just because you see Jalen Green have a game where he drops 30 points and you see Cade Cunningham drop 19 does not mean that Jalen Green is the better player, all right? I think they're both going to be very good in their own respectful ways. Jalen Green's just going to be a bucket. He's probably going to be a guy who at least once in his career is going to get some sort of scoring title. He's a scoring machine. That's what he is, and that's what he will be. And Cade Cunningham, he's just going to be that all-around great point guard who can get you some buckets, get you some assists, be a leader, rebound, play defense. He'll do all that. I'm looking to the right because I got the list of players that I got drafted, so I don't forget. Evan Mobley didn't have the best summer league, but I think his game's going to translate fine. I think he'll have a good rookie year. He'll give me kind of gives me like an AD / maybe like DeAndre Ayton type vibes. I really like what he has to offer for the Cavs. It's going to be interesting how they run with him and Jarrett Allen in the front court for the Cavaliers. If they're going to trade Jarrett Allen in the future, if they actually want to run that as a starting front court, or maybe have one come off the bench. That would be interesting, but I do like Evan Mobley. All right, let me finish this. I'm just holding the strawberry. Give me a second, man. No, I'm not going to edit this out. So. All right, next. This one kind of threw some people off. A lot of Raptors fans didn't like this at first. I think they're more comfortable with the pick now. The Raptors went with Scottie Barnes with the 4th pick. I honestly thought that they were going to go with Jalen Suggs. I just thought he was that point guard who could be the point guard for them for the next 10 plus years. He just seemed like that future franchise player. They selected Scottie Barnes. Right away, I wasn't saying, oh, bad decision, bust, all that shit. Scottie Barnes is great, and he's going to fit this Raptors team really good. He's going to be a good two-way player once his offensive game develops. I love his defense. Obviously, he brings that intensity. I think him and OG Anunoby in the same starting lineup is going to be so deadly defensively. So many teams are going to struggle with that. And Siakam seems like he's becoming a better defender every single year, especially in the post. Offensively, Scotty Barnes, I know his game isn't the most polished, but people sometimes underestimate his offensive game. Like, I think he could be nice. He's got the wingspan. His jump shot, although he's not a great three-point shooter, his mechanics look pretty good from what I've seen. And I feel like he's underrated, and with time, he's going to develop into a pretty nice offensive player. He kind of, you know what? A lot of people say Kawhi, all this stuff. I want to be more realistic, especially for a young player coming into the league. He kind of, in a way, reminds me of Jonathan Isaac when Jonathan Isaac was starting to break out before his injury. And I really think that's what we can see with Scotty Barnes either this year or next year. So that's what I'm going to say with him. Obviously, a little bit shorter. I think he's probably going to play more of the 3. Actually, I don't know where he's going to play. He's probably not going to start out the season. But it's going to be interesting to see how the lineup's going to be because OG Anunoby, I don't necessarily like him at the 2. And I don't like Siakam at the 5. So they might just run like OG at the 3, Siakam at the 4, whoever at the 5, and then just have Scotty Barnes come off the bench, or they might do OG at the 2, Scotty at the 3, Siakam at the 4, and then their center, which could be really interesting. That would be really good defensively, but offensively, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, we'll pass that one. I like the pick. So I'm not going to say that, like, you know, I'm not going to say it was a bad pick because they didn't get Suggs, even though I do love Suggs. So obviously, we move on to the next one. Jalen Suggs goes to the Orlando Magic. Obviously, the Magic were just like, all right, let's get the best player available. Suggs at 5, we gotta pick him up. So it was a good pick for the Magic. It's gonna be interesting to see what guards they're gonna roll with for the future. I mean, they got Markelle Fultz, they got Cole Anthony, and they got Jalen Suggs. So it's gonna be interesting how those 3 guys are gonna work in the rotation for the future and who they're gonna rely with. I will say this though, Jalen Suggs is gonna be that guy. If you had to pick one guard to keep out of those 3, it's got to be Jalen Suggs. And he hasn't even played his first game in the NBA yet. But I can just tell you that, especially when you used a 5th pick to get him. I mean, you didn't give up too much to get Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony. He was, actually, I forgot what pick Cole Anthony was, but I'm pretty sure he was pretty late in the, wasn't he like the 14th pick or something like that? I can't remember. But obviously you got to run with Suggs with the future. What I think they should do is run Markelle Fultz and Suggs and have Cole Anthony come off the bench. I think Cole Anthony would be a perfect 6-man, just be a guy that goes in there and can drop buckets and get hot. Kind of like a Lou Will is what I could see as Cole Anthony being. And then the 6th pick. There we go. The Oklahoma City Thunder select my favorite pick of the draft and probably the most shocking pick, and that was Josh Giddey. I love Josh Giddey. I love his game. I'm watching his film. Playmaking guard. He's got the height. I think he's going to make Shai's game so much better. He's going to elevate Shai's game for the future. He's a guy that he's probably not going to be a great rookie. He's probably going to be one of the worst. Hold on. I want to watch what I'm saying here. Like, out of the guys in the top 5, I feel like his rookie year might be the worst statistically from those guys. Now, I know that may sound weird because you're like, he's going to have all the keys. It's OKC. Other than Shai, they don't really have many guys. I feel like a lot of what we're going to see from Josh Giddey is you're going to see the talent, but it's going to be a little bit raw. You're gonna see nights where he doesn't have great shooting nights. You might see some nights where he turns over the ball a lot. But I really like Josh Giddey for the future. I feel like Josh Giddey, you give him a good 2-3 years, he's going to turn into a great player, a great guy to fill on Shai. The height, the length in the backcourt, as well as the playmaking next to Shai scoring, I think it's going to be really good. I know people say Josh Giddey's jumper isn't the best. Sort of the same thing with Scotty Barnes. I like the fundamentals. I don't think it's necessarily a bad jump shot. I think it's something that can develop. And I think it was like top 10 in his, it may not be the most impressive, but he's still playing professional ball. I think it was like top 10 in like pull-up shots made in their league. It was something like that. I don't know exactly. And all those percentages weren't great. it was also in a pretty short sample size. And what I love is that OKC is going to give him opportunities. He's going to be playing 30-plus minutes a night. They're going to say, hey, take 20-plus shots. We don't care how bad you shoot. Just go out there and play, because it doesn't necessarily matter if we win or lose. That's why I love about Josh Giddey. I think it's the perfect fit for him to be on OKC. And OKC, I think it's the perfect fit to select Josh Giddey, because you have time for him to develop. You don't need a guy that will come in and be great right away. So I spent a good amount of time on that pick. I just love the pick. I love Josh Giddey. I kind of want to get a Josh Giddey jersey. And he's also a really smart basketball player. Next, we move on to Kuminga. The Warriors easily had one of the best drafts this year. Like, one of the best they've had in a long time as well. I mean, in order to get Kuminga set, we'll just go over both their picks right now since they were both in lottery. To get Kuminga at 7 and Moses Moody at 14 are two players that I thought should have gone higher up. I thought Kuminga was going to be a top 5 pick at least, and I thought Moses Moody was probably going to crack into the top 10, maybe even top 12. So the fact that they selected them, they've looked really good in the Summer League so far, which I know doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to NBA, but they have looked really good. Yeah, and, it's going to be interesting to see how they fit in with the Warriors team. A lot of people are saying they should have traded the picks to be more competitive. I like that they went with the younger option to get these guys. And I'm going to make a whole separate video later, so I don't want to go too much into the Warriors as a whole. But I will say that Kuminga with Draymond Green, being along Steph Curry, Clay, it's just going to make them so much better. As when I say they, I mean both the rookies and Kuminga and Moody. It's going to be great to watch. That's all I'm going to say. We might not see a lot from them this year, being that it is their rookie year, especially Moses Moody, because I feel like they have so many guards on the team. And obviously Steph Curry and Clay are going to be getting a lot of those minutes, so we'll see how that works out. Hold on. Next, we got Franz Wagner, who was selected 8th to the Orlando Magic, coming out of Michigan. I like Franz Wagner. I think out of all the guys, he probably has the lowest ceiling in this lottery. But he has a good floor. I think he's a guy that he's going to be in the league for a long time. He's a good defensive player, good team player. He can play make, good size, defensive, can shoot. He does everything well. He's not going to necessarily excel in one thing. He's never going to be a 20-plus per game scorer. He's never going to be a defensive player of the year. He's probably not going to be any of those things, but he can be a guy who can really just be a really solid role player. I don't know why that took me so long to get out, but because I don't want to say anything too disrespectful. Like, I'm not saying Franz Wagner can't be better than a role player, but that's just why I see him as, like, when I did a separate thing, I never uploaded it, but it was like my draft predictions. That's actually one of the ones I got right, was Franz Wagner to the Orlando Magic, because it's just a pick that I could picture them making, but it's not necessarily what I thought they should have gone with, only for the reason that he is a little bit older of a rookie. Not a lot older, but he is a little bit older, and I just don't see his ceiling being the highest. But at the same time, I think he can make players around him better. So, yeah, that's what I got to say for that one. And then next, we got 7, 8, 9. We got the 9th pick, which was the Kings selecting Davion Mitchell. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video. We're definitely past the 10-minute mark at this point, so I'm trying to get these through. Davion Mitchell. I love Davion Mitchell. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, that was a terrible pick by the Kings. They're giving him a bad draft grade, all this stuff, saying that they have too many guards, which is true. But if you look at the draft, the Kings were just put in a really tough position, man, because even if the Kings broke top 7, they could have been able to get a guy like Franz, or even just top 8 if they were one more pick less. Like, they could have gotten a Franz Wagner. They could have gotten a Kuminga. But all the forwards, there wasn't many good forwards in the lottery. And you could have went with Zaire Williams, who went to the Memphis Grizzlies at 10. But I think Davion Mitchell is going to be... I better watch. I hate making predictions saying, like, what player is going to be better than another in a draft. But I do think Davion Mitchell is going to be a more impactful player than Zaire Williams will be in the near future and possibly in the long term. That's what I think. I don't think it was a bad pick by the Kings. It's just they were put in a tough position. Like, there was no other forwards that I think they could have selected. And they just went with the best player available, which I totally respect. And I think Davion Mitchell, although it's going to be kind of ass to see him come off the bench, you know, he's a guy who I want to see starting. I think, you know, to have a defensive-minded guard next to De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton is going to be really good. But they got to get rid of Buddy Hield, man. They got to get rid of Buddy Hield so they could give minutes to these guys like Davion Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton, and De'Aaron Fox. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is guaranteed to get a lot of minutes, but you know what I'm saying. And then Zaire Williams. Yeah, so the Grizzlies. I mean, the Grizzlies selected him, so I'm not going to say anything bad about this pick. Grizzlies have done such a great job of drafting over the years. They've hit with a lot of their picks, even like guys like Desmond Bane. So, yeah, he's going to be a guy who is probably not going to get a lot of minutes in his rookie year or maybe even his second year. He's going to be a long-term prospect. He's going to be a guy you experiment with coming out of Stanford. I don't really have too much to say from him, but he could definitely turn out to be a really good player. And then we got James Bouknight, who went to the Charlotte Hornets at the 11th selection. Really good pick for the Hornets. They just signed Terry Rozier to a big extension. I think it was like 4-year, $97 million. So I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed that Bouknight, at least in the short term, is going to be coming off the bench for the Hornets. But I really do like Bouknight's game. Coming out of UConn, you know, you gotta love your UConn players. He's a 3-level scorer. He's good at pretty much every aspect of the game. He can defend. You know, he's not the lengthiest or the tallest point guard, but he makes up for it on both sides of the court. He didn't have the best summer league, but I think he's going to turn out with time, and he's going to be a really solid player for this Hornets team. And then this one shocked a lot of people. 12th pick, the Spurs went with Joshua Primo. A lot of people hated on this pick. I'm going to say this. It's the Spurs. I'm not going to go against any players that the Spurs draft or select. I do like how he's the youngest player, or he was the youngest player to be in D1 basketball. I think he's still 18 years old. He's younger than me, dude. And I'm standing here in front of a camera recording a YouTube video as he's here getting, you know, we ain't even gonna compare. We ain't gonna. Shout out Joshua Primo though. That's crazy. But yeah, what was I gonna get to? I do like his game, and he's actually really smart for what you've seen like in the summer league. He's so smart for his age. Like, he plays with such high IQ at just being 18. I'm looking over there because I keep seeing this like light flicker off. But for an 18-year-old, I mean, he's got high IQ, man. He makes good decisions. He makes smart reads, so you can definitely see why the Spurs went for a player like that. I don't have anything against this. I felt like they probably could have drafted down. That's the only thing I would have to say. Like, you didn't have to take him at 12, I felt like. You probably could have traded down to maybe even like the 16th or 20th pick, somewhere around there. You maybe could have gotten some more assets, or you could have gotten like 2 more second-round picks. I just felt like they could have done something a little bit more to make their draft interesting. So it's not necessarily that I have a problem with the player that they selected. It was just where they selected him. So that's what I got to say there. The Pacers at 13 get Chris Duarte, who I like Chris Duarte coming out of Oregon. Good player, good defender, good offensive player. He can shoot the ball, good on all aspects of the game. Had a really promising summer league. So it's a good pickup for the Pacers. I think if the Pacers don't end up doing good this year and start going into a rebuilding phase, Chris Duarte is going to be a big piece for them in the future. And I actually see him getting a lot of play time for his rookie year coming off the bench, because the Pacers do lack a little bit of guards coming off the bench. Obviously, you have Justin Holiday. Well, he's more of like a 2/3. And you got, who else you got in there? What's that other young guard? Edmund Summers. Like, those guys have been playing for so long and just haven't really, well, I say so long, but they've really been like the backup young guards for like 2 or 3 years, and they just haven't really been able to take that next step to develop. So hopefully they're like, all right, we're going to have Chris Duarte come in and sort of, you know, be that next young guard that can lead for the future. And obviously we already talked about Moses Moody and the Warriors. So yeah, that was the lottery. A little bit of a longer video. The next one, we're going to get into the picks outside of lottery. Obviously, I'm not going to go into every single pick, but I'm going to talk about which ones were my favorites, which one maybe weren't. And yeah, that's all I got to say. So I'm going to end off the video by saying this. I think this draft class will go down as the best draft class of this decade overall. Maybe not like individual star talent or like top three. I mean, the top three is going to be great. But I think overall draft, there are so many guys that are just going to be absolutely studs. There's so many guys past the lotteries that have also done so well in the Summer League. And like I said multiple times, Summer League doesn't translate to the NBA. But I do like what I see. I'm going to head out. I'll see you guys for the next video. And peace!